Hi friends of cocktails! When was the last time you tried something for the first time? Today I'll show you a spirit I've recently tried for the first time and give you 3 cocktail recipes to use it in. We were sent this bottle of Aged Sotol a few weeks ago from a patron of the channel. We tried it, we loved it, so here we are. To start, we look at Sotol. What is it? A bit of its history, and we'll make some cocktails. A twist on the old-fashioned, Manhattan and the Moscow Mule. 3 new versions of classic cocktails with something for everyone. At the end, I'll tell you which one I think is the best. You might be surprised. If you're ready, it's cocktail time. So, what exactly is Sotol? It's one of Mexico's signature spirits, and in the words of David, the patron who sent us this bottle, it is similar to tequila, but much more interesting. In his opinion, Sotol is made from the Sotol plant, which grows wild in northern Mexico and southwestern United States. Sotol plant, also known as desert spoon, resembles an agave, so it's usually thrown in the same category as its more famous cousins, tequila and mezcal. It's also made in a very similar process. This spirit was once considered a liquor for the drunks and peasants, but has enjoyed a resurrection in the last few decades. It can now legally only be made in 3 states in Mexico, but it's also made in parts of the US, like West Texas. David is from Austin, Texas, and he generously gifted us this beautiful bottle from the local Desert Door distillery. So with all due respect to Mexico and their Sotol, this is what we'll be using today. Unaged Sotol is typically described as tasting bright and grassy, with earthy, vegetal and slightly funky characteristics. But this 100 proof Desert Door Oak Aged Sotol has been put in new American oak barrels and left to mature for up to a year. That gives it pleasant notes of vanilla, caramel and wood. It sits somewhere between tequila, mezcal and bourbon. Wonderful. Again, thank you for the bottle, David. Now it's time to make a few cocktails with it. Starting with a twist on the original cocktail, the old-fashioned. Here's what you'll need. The base spirit will be our oak-aged Sotol for all 3 cocktails. Amaretto liqueur will add a characteristic almond taste, and since this is called the Serrano, I'll call the cocktail the old-fashioned. Agave syrup for some sweetness, and a combination of cocktail time house bitters to balance it all out. This is a mix of 1 part aromatic bitters, 1 part chocolate bitters, and 3/4 part of orange bitters. And like always, a little salt to boost all of the flavors. Get a clear ice block tempering in the glass, and let's make the old-fashioned. We'll add all ingredients into a chilled mixing glass and stir with ice to chill and dilute. With this Sotol being slightly aged, an old-fashioned twist was the first thing that came to mind. 2 ounces or 60 ml of Desert Door Oak Aged Sotol. Follow that with 1/4 ounce or 7.5 ml of Amaretto di Serrano. This doesn't actually contain almonds. It's an infusion of apricot kernel oil with alcohol, burnt sugar and the essence of 17 herbs and fruits. For a little extra sweetness, 1 bar spoon of agave syrup. This is 3 parts agave nectar and 2 parts water. I've used my house bitters for the IKEA old-fashioned recipe, and I think the aromatic chocolate-orange combo really works great in this too. 5 dashes will be plenty. And like you hear me say almost every week, salt enhances flavors in cooking and in cocktails. 2 drops of saline solution. Add plenty of ice and stir for long enough to chill and dilute. Then drain the water from the glass before pouring the cocktail over the clear ice cube. For garnish and the finishing touch, express the oils from an orange peel and place on top. Before we make a Sotol Manhattan twist and a Texas buck, let's take a sip of this. Orange aroma is followed by a boozy sip that leads with pine and almonds. Sotol is the main player, supported by the amaretto and the bitters. There's a lovely aftertaste of cedar. I'm really happy with this one. If you're looking for the simplest way to enjoy a delicious old-fashioned, Texas has you covered. Just add Liber & Co.'s old-fashioned cocktail syrup to our Sotol, and that's it. They combine their silky classic gum syrup with the perfect measure of aromatic bitters and cold-pressed orange oil. Simple, but old-fashioned. For the second cocktail, we'll see what happens when you place the Manhattan in Texas. Based on a quick Google search on which Texas city is most like New York, I'm calling it the Houston cocktail. Let me know in the comments if that's wrong. But here's what you'll need to make it. Oak Aged Sotol in place of whiskey. For vermouth, I'm using Hokky di Torino, but I'm also adding Pedro Jimenez sherry for some complexity. Again, I'm going with my house bitters mix and saline solution. For garnish, I'm doing the classic cherry. We are serving this in a coupe glass, without ice, so make sure it's chilled before you make the cocktail. Since we are mixing up the ingredients, we're now doing the classic 2-1-2 Manhattan recipe. But I'm starting with 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of Sotol, followed by 1/2 ounce or 50 ml of our vermouth. Hokky di Torino is great, but use your favorite. For a bit more richness, add Pedro Jimenez sherry. 1/4 ounce or 7.5 ml will be enough. Same as the original recipe, 2 dashes of bitters, but this time with added chocolate and orange notes in the house mix. As before, 2 drops of saline solution. This is 20 grams of salt dissolved in 80 grams of water. Add plenty of ice and stir. In the meantime, grab the chill cook glass, then strain and garnish with a brandied cherry. Classy and beautiful. Sotol is in the forefront even on the aroma with this one. That's then complemented by flavors of ripe stone fruits and a nutty undertone from the sherry and vermouth. Bitters add the finishing touch with the same woody finish provided by the oak-aged Sotol as with the old-fashioned. You could say that Houston gives Manhattan a run for its money. On to the final cocktail of the day, the Texas Buck. The easiest of the three. We'll build this long drink straight into the glass. Here's what you'll need. Oak-aged Sotol for the base, Ancho Reyes chill liqueur for a spicy undertone, lime to make it nice and refreshing, and ginger beer for a different kind of a spicy kick. For garnish, I'll add some mint and coat the side of the glass with another thing David sent, tajin. This is a popular brand of Mexican seasoning, made with mildly spicy dried chili peppers, lime and salt. To make it stick to the side of the glass, you'll want to rub the glass with lime and dip that part in tajin. Now we build the cocktail over ice, straight in a glass, starting with 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of our Desert Door Sotol. Don't worry if you don't have the oak-aged one, the original should work just fine here. To give it a gentle heat together with the seasoning, 1/4 ounce or 7.5 ml of Ancho Reyes. This also adds a bit of sweetness, so we'll balance that with an equal amount, 1/4 ounce or 7.5 ml of lime juice. Give these ingredients a churn to get everything mixed, then top it off with ginger beer. This will add more spiciness than if you use ginger ale. Leave the cocktail to mix the ginger beer without agitating it too much. And the finishing touch, a bouquet of mint. Like this shirt says, always spank the mint to release the aromatic oils from the leaves. And you'll smell that even before you pick it up. But you can also sense the spiciness, even though in the aroma. Sotol is the perfect spirit to put into the mix, with a spicy combination of ginger beer and Ancho Reyes. This even brings out the subtle smoke from Sotol, and together with the hint spice, it's a real treat. With a kick. Now for the verdict. My favorite of these three is old-fashioned. The pairing of Sotol and the Serrano really works great. With that said, I really enjoyed all of them, and there's space to explore Sotol in many more cocktails. If you have a suggestion or any experience with Sotol, make sure to leave a comment below. And since we started the episode talking about our awesome patrons, I'm super happy to be able to finish it with new patron joining the Cocktail Time Wall of Fame. Hokky Tio became the newest top tier patron, and we couldn't be more grateful. Welcome to the set, Hokky. I hope you all get to try Sotol and the cocktails I made today. It's fun trying something new, especially if it's this good. And if you're looking to try out something else, how about making your own homemade bitters? I've shown many ways and flavors. Until next time, cheers, friends of cocktails.